Hello, my fellow human. Welcome back to another daily dice where we ask the dice for a message and find out what that is. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey and this channel. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you and so glad to call you a part of my tribe. And for those of you new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And with that being said, let's hop to it. Let's just ask Source what message Source has for us today. So Source, what message do you have for my fellow humans? What would you like them to know today, Source? What message do you have for my fellow humans? What would you like us to know today, Source? Okay, so we've got Pisces out here, 7th house, and Pluto. So we are dealing with interpersonal relationships with the 7th house coming through here. So let's get into it and see what this combination is trying to tell us, okay? So it does feel like there's a lot of transformation coming up when it comes to how you feel about the relationships that have been in your life up until now. So you may have been in that state of victimization, right? Like where sometimes we get stuck in that, right? Like, oh, they did this to me or they did that to me and oh my gosh, everybody in my life hates me or everybody in my life is terrible to me. Like they're really mean to me. Like I don't understand why this keeps happening. And it has to do with your relationships here. You know, Pisces is that energy. I know I have a Pisces sun. I have a lot of Pisces placements actually. But Pisces is that energy that can sometimes take you on these beautiful high highs, but I always talk about the very low lows. Like there's the fish that swims to the depths of the ocean, and sometimes the pressure of that feeling and that emotion just really drags you down. And everybody experiences that. It's not just Pisces who go through that, but Pisces are just really known for that. That's something that happens on the whim. Like it's like you imagine your entire life set before your eyes, and the minute that something doesn't go your way, suddenly we go into those depths. And it's something that Pisces really has to work on to get from their shadow. But here we feel this guilt that's coming through in the dice, and it's like the guilt of not being the perfect person or not being what you thought it could be, or the situation not playing out the way that you thought that it should, and having these issues where it's like, I'm the victim, I'm the one who's always getting hurt, I'm the one that's really like having the hard time, like I don't see how these other people are going through it with me. And what you're beginning to see here is actually looking at the shadow aspect within yourself as to why this is getting triggered. And I do feel like there's something from your past that's going to be resurfaced here. So something that you may have repressed from your past where it's like, oh my gosh, like when I was 3 years old, this happened to me and it made me fear ever having that direct intimacy with someone or having that connection with someone, because it really just feels like everyone's gonna leave. And now I see how I've been showing up and maybe pushing people away and putting myself in a state where I am pushing them away and they're pushing me away, and I see how we're mirroring each other. And it's not, you're not blaming anymore, but you're also not victim shaming yourself. Like you're not like, oh, so you were the victim here. Like, yeah, I'm sure. You know, it's not like that. That's not what this is. It's just understanding that the whole reason that you believed you were a victim is coming to light. And so what Source wants you to know is to remember to be open to those very difficult parts of yourself and those very difficult shadow aspects of yourself. You know, we have to embrace the shadow aspect. And, you know, people say that on this journey. And it was so funny because when I first started, I was like, what on God's green earth does it mean to embrace our shadow aspect? Like, what does that mean? Everybody's saying it to become more enlightened, to get better at this journey, to understand ourselves. What does that mean? If I were to break it down for you right now on this reading, it truly means seeing what you don't like about another person within yourself. Let that sink in for a second. That's the reality. That is what it means to embrace your shadow self. And I can already hear someone on here saying, I don't have the same problems as this other person that's in my life. Like, I'm not like that. But in reality, everything outside of us is a manifestation of what we're feeling within. And so maybe you're not intentionally acting like that out in public, but what's to say that you're not treating yourself that way internally? Right? And that's why it's so important for us to become the observers of our lives and become the observers of how we talk to ourselves and speak to ourselves. And through that, we begin to find this power within where it's like, wow, I can see where everyone has been teaching me this valuable lesson about myself. And there are a lot of people who've been a huge blessing, but there have also been a lot of people who've been very difficult here. And so Source is just asking you to open up to this. You know, Pisces is all about having to deal with the karma that we bring into our lives and reaping what we sow. And Pluto is asking us to transform that part of ourselves. And we all play a vital function and role within the karma that we receive in our lives. And opening up to that truth will help us open up to what role that we have played along the way. And it's not like you intentionally ask for someone to come in and disarm you or to betray you or to hurt you. However, your thoughts about yourself could have put you in a position where that's something that was a potential that came into your life. And if it did, what was the purpose of that? What was the purpose behind that? Was that to teach you how to love yourself? Was that to teach you to be kinder to yourself? Was that to teach you to set boundaries? And it's difficult in this world where we're at right now because we are very much in this place of blaming everyone else for our failure, for blaming everyone else for our lack of love, for blaming everyone else for where we're at in our lives. And in reality, that's just an excuse for us to not do that internal work. And I've been there too. I lived that for a long time. And it's only through doing the inner work that I begin to understand, wow, like all these people were teaching me something so valuable about myself. And it was how I disrespected myself so much. And it was how I didn't love myself. And it was how I couldn't even like look myself in the eye and be honest with myself. You know, and I didn't know how to set boundaries. And I didn't know how to be strong for myself. We have water energy. We're here with Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And we have spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. And this is about being compassionate with what emotions arise, you know, whether that's anger, whether that's fear, whether that's annoyance and frustration. You know, all of those emotions are actually our navigation in this world, and it helps us heal even deeper at what we're doing. And we have Leo energy here with self-confidence, loyalty, and creativity. And the more that you're loyal to yourself on this journey, the more that you see yourself as someone who's this creative body that's here, that has a purpose, that belongs, that has a right to belong, the more you'll be able to open up to what your emotions are telling you, the really high highs and the really low lows. Because each side shares with us some new direction on the compass of this world. We have house 12 coming out here. Pisces energy, once again, spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So we do see healing coming through here. The karma, learning how to spiritually transcend beyond that, beyond what's been in our lives, beyond what it is that we've known or come to accept as the norm, that we never have to live or stay in that energy, that we always have a choice to change the direction of our lives because we are in charge. And yes, maybe there are things outside of our lives that we can't control, but there's so many things that we say are outside of our control, which are really truly within our control. And part of that has to do with our emotions and how we see ourselves and how we choose to show up. Are we reacting to situations or are we responding? And there's a huge difference between the two. I have the hiccups. We have will with Tiger, really embracing your power of will here and knowing that it's okay for you to stand in this powerful place of honoring how you feel and letting that help you heal with shaman, ancient healing wisdom flying out here, help you heal, to stand in your emotions and say, this is how I feel today. And going through it helps you heal. We have focus on the bottom. This is coming from your crown chakra. Like Source may have been opening you up to your crown chakra here recently, and it's been really hard for you to understand those messages coming through. But this is Source saying, like, I'm trying to bring in this deep emotional healing. This is ancient healing as well. You're gaining ancestral wisdom, shaman wisdom. This is going back to indigenous healing coming through here for you, helping you walk in this place that is so filled with the spectrum of good and bad, or good and harsh emotions. We have authenticity with wolf coming through here. So this is helping you to regain a sense of who you are, balance within yourself. And this is where your prosperity lies here, okay, with peacock. This is you. And look, again, this idea that wisdom is coming. There's some kind of ancient wisdom coming in here, okay? We have this always reminds me of this card, and this card reminds me of this card, so I love that they came out together here. But you have this ancestral wisdom that's coming in, and if you didn't catch it, but I did have an ancestral daily dice that came out either yesterday or a couple of days ago. I'm never really sure how they get posted when they get uploaded on my computer, but it's really talking about your ancestors wanting you to take that next step and dig in deep and to find out the truth of who you are, rather than relying on situations to happen outside of you to determine the way that you show up in life. You can choose today, and you can choose to respond today rather than react. And oftentimes it's much easier said than done, but with practice and consistency and forgiveness of self for how you show up in any one moment, you will get to this point where when something happens that really is outside of your control, it is no longer controlling you or how you show up in this moment, okay? So this is what I see for you. If you really feel like this is your message, leave a wolf emoji down below and say, I embrace the wisdom and knowledge of my ancestors so that I can authentically live my life. It would mean so much to me if you would like the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking to support the channel further, you'll find all those links below in the description box. You can email me for a personal reading. You can follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. You can even join as a member, and I truly hope to see you over on memberships. But if not, thank you for your continued support here. And I do want to take a quick second to thank your guide, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides, and the ancestors for coming through to give us this beautiful message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.